Okay, so yes, sir, thank you. So we're live now. A very good evening to all the viewers. I'm your host, Preena, for this evening, and as I promised, I'll be back with another interesting topic. So, once again, a welcome to all of you in this special disruptive education live session. And our guest for today is Mrs. Mandvi Tripathi, ma'am, and she will be talking on revisiting role of teachers in career guidance. We all know that teachers have a valuable part to play in a learner's career journey. So before we start, a little more about ma'am. She has been working in the field of education from past 19 years, and she has also worked as a principal and vice principal in renowned brands of education industry like GD Goenka, Dr. Viren Swaroop Education Foundation. And currently, she is working as a principal in Lucknow's topmost reputed international school. And she is an advisory member of Sport Academy Association of India. Uh, to add on, she has been awarded as the most dynamic principal by International United Educationist Fraternity and Aesthetics International at Haryana, and also an active member of Education Quality Foundation of India. She has been a great leader and motivator. Her contribution towards CSR has also been awarded by Pehel Foundation. And not to miss this, she has also written and directed a short movie, Agle Janam Mohe Bitiya Hi Kijo, which was also played at Agra Mahotsav. Well, as per ma'am, she believes educational institutes as nurseries of the future society since it is them that works upon. Children at their most impressionable ages influences formative years, instills confidence, molds and shapes the personality of the child. Such institutes are thus architects of future society. So we are happy to have you on this forum of Global Education and Training Institute. So without taking much time, I would request you to please take forward this session. Viewers are waiting.
Thank you, Preena. Thank you so much. And I don't have words to tell how happy I am that I'm joining here today as a esteemed speaker on this platform of Geti and this global disruptive education movement by Dr. Sunita Gandhi. I'm thankful to the team for giving me a chance to come over here and share this wonderful platform with you all. And today, as I said, and Preena has already promised, we'll be talking about revisiting roles of teachers in career guidance, basically. So let's see. I have a small presentation and I would love to share that with you. And I'm switching on. Is that visible, Preena?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Right, great. So, revisiting roles of teachers in career guidance. Today, there is a greater dilemma. We all work in schools, but then we are working in schools and then we are finding it pretty difficult after looking at all the ratios and all. You might have seen that revisiting roles of teachers, you might have seen that it is very difficult that people that are coming out of our schools, the employability skill is very poor. But then why is it happening? Is there something going wrong with schools, our teaching procedure, or something that we are not doing with the students? So let's talk about this, that why is it happening? There, I would like to emphasize how teachers can bring in a change and what important role do teachers play in such a scenario. When we talk of career guidance, you should be well aware that this career guidance, what do we mean by career guidance? There are two terms that fly in the society very easily, career guidance and career counseling. But then what is that? When we talk of guidance and counseling, let me tell you that guidance is preventive in nature, whereas counseling is something that tends to be healing and very curative and remedial. But we generally go and confuse ourselves when we talk about career guidance and counseling. So let me first clarify the two terms to you, that career guidance can be defined as a comprehensive developmental program which is designed to assist individuals in making and implementing informed educational and occupational choices In simple words, it is a journey on which people develop to make mature and informed decisions. So we need to guide our students to make the best of decisions, and this entire guidance program has to be well designed. What we teachers will do, how can we help children in making their career choices? What do we need to do with them at this point of time? You need to tell your students that first of all, you have to understand that whenever we give career guidance to students and individuals, we help them to acquire their best of knowledge, information, skills, and identify the experience which is necessary to make their career options and narrow them down to one career, because children are pretty confused. They are not knowing what to do with their careers. So teachers have this sole responsibility. Steps for making a career choice: when I say, please perform a self assessment, help the child discover his talent, his real interest, because most of the time you confuse your hobbies and your interest and your right way or track of choosing a career. So here is what is the important role of the teachers, that you have to help children perform a good self assessment through either a counselor at school or anybody. So please see that you do this. Second, identify your must haves, what you want in life. That should also be identified. Make a list of jobs that you need to explore for yourself. Research what are good jobs and employers. Get training if necessary. Talk with some experienced people. Continue growing and learning. Never stop that. So please don't stop learning. That is one thing that is very important. Now, why basically we go for guidance? Why do we need this process of guidance? Because once these teachers, you'll set up something, you'll set up a whole designed and structured program, then only you will be able to help out your students. But because we never talk about structuring this kind of a program, we are never being able to help them. Now, guidance is a process where in all the individual, we try to help him to recognize his own inner resources, to set goals, to make plans, and to work out his own problems. It does not solve the problem, but it helps him or her to, at least get through. It is a big process. In simple words, if I would love to say, it is helping individuals to discover and develop the potential. How are we going to do that? Let's see. And when I put this here, why do we need guidance? Because it is all about holistic development, nurturance of your creativity, recognition of potential, and recognition of individual uniqueness also. So guidance is very much required that we need to do with the kids. Now coming to career. Career is defined as an occupation that we are going to pursue for throughout lifetime. It is not just one set of job. Generally, people change jobs, but they don't change their careers. Career is defined as an occupation, trade, profession, and vocation. In simple terms, if I say that throughout your career, you might be changing jobs, but you don't change exactly your career. So this might clear out the definition of career and job. So job and career are two different things. You choose a stream for yourself to take it through the lifetime. You keep on taking different activities, different experiences, different profiles in that particular scenario. But then your career is one thing and your job is another. So when you make a career choice, the right kind of guidance and counseling is very much required. And I clear this with a definition. A person usually holds several jobs in his or her life, or it is usually easier to change jobs in the same field of work that defines one's career. However, switching careers is very difficult. Now, why do we need this guidance? Children are just like, I should say wet soil, wet clay, but then we have to plan them and guide them. Children don't plan their futures. They follow their peers. They accept whatever their parents say. At times, they do get tempted by the current trends, I must say, that are running. Supposing if you say, now if we talk about, we generally have just career choices are very limited. People talk about being a doctor, being an engineer, being an IS officer. But although there are very many streams and verticals which students as well as their parents are really unaware of, and that's part of our job to make them acquainted to that part of scenario, because it is not happening in schools, hence they do not know the different verticals also. They are totally, children are away from the realities and live in the world of their own dreams and fantasies, and hence they feel like the 4 or 5 running trends are what I have to stream down to. Or if my peers are joining, if my peers are going into a particular kind of a profession, that is what I have to opt for. If I love this is my hobby, and I've never done a self assessment, and I'm not aware what I need to do, so that is also one thing. They fail to discover their own true self. That is what I said. They do not demarcate between their interest, hobbies, and what they want to pursue as a career at times, and this becomes very difficult choices. So this is the need, that why we opt for. I have cleared what is the difference between career counseling. Career counseling is therapeutic. You have to take in counseling when the problem is related to personal or socio psychological issues. Guidance is a well structured plan where you go and shut down your choices to one particular career option. That is what is guidance. And now I'm just going to show you a small video which I think most of you, half of your doubts will be very much cleared. Let's come to this, and I'm gonna put it here. It's not pasted. Just a moment, give me a time.
Ma'am, you need to share the screen. Share the
Is
screen.
it there?
You can put it on full view.
Just have a look at this video, and I think it will give you a glimpse of how a confused child finds it very difficult, wherein he does not know what his interest, his hobby is, and what career option does he want to take up. So, confused child in front of you. So this is how that you can really see that this little boy has to, because he is confused and he does not know what he is supposed to do, hence he cannot choose a basic career for his own self. Now as I say and move on, let me share the screen first. Yeah, I'm back, and I think this video would have helped you to just think over the lines that why a particular kind of guidance is required in choosing career paths. When I move forward now, the role of teachers can open doors to better communication between parents and teachers to foster a better understanding of the career choices of the students. You need to understand that this is something as a bond between the parent, the teacher, as well as the child, and all three have to be in a string tied together firmly with better flow of communication, better understanding of each other's need, and especially the need of the student, so that you can help the child trim down his career choices into a particular one kind of a career that he wants to take up in his professional life. Now, what are the skills required? How can teachers, if we look at it, the basic requirements, if the children are looking for making a career, is communication skills, very much important. Thinking skills, and especially we talk about critical thinking skills, because metacognition is very much important. You don't have to teach the child what to think, but you have to teach him like how he has to think. We have to teach him that how he needs to think, how he has to actually start with this critical thinking process. So metacognition, it develops across the lifetime, so it is very important to talk about critical thinking. Interpersonal skills are, of course, important. Empathy, because knowing and understanding others is, again, one of the needs that is very much required. Emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, yes, again an attribute which makes you successful throughout the life. And decision making skills, these are the skills which the school needs to focus upon. But is it exactly happening in schools? If I come upon talking, then I have this little thing to say that we generally ask the children when they are sitting in our classes, we never invest in their strengths. We treat them as individuals who are all together going to learn by the same procedure, and even never talk about their strengths in school. But then you have to focus, because maybe if I'll have time, I'll show you this video. It says, let the fish swim, let the rabbits run, and let the eagles fly. You cannot teach them all what they don't want to do. So we have to jot down and help children identify that what they need to do, what is the best of the capability that they have, and how they can take up their career choices. We don't want a school of average ducks, or we need to play with people's strength. So you need to do this assessment. Now teachers have to take that role of assessing that how is the aptitude of the child, jointly to with the parents. I must say it should be done with the parents. You cannot keep the parents out of the loop, but then you have to do it. That first of all, an assessment which says that you have to prioritize, you have to list your priorities in life. What are your interests, what are your preferences, what is the aptitude, which is a very important thing. Aptitude test must be conducted. I always tell this in all my sessions, that child's aptitude is the mirror of his personality. So strength and weakness, all this the child should be well aware of, what we call as a SWOT analysis also. So that must be done. Parents should look upon the interest also. The school should also find out. The teacher should help the parents reach out this. Then skills, of course, the school can identify. Exploration means you have to go for a career research. Career information should be there. What is the market scenario? Generally, what happens is children are not aware. They think, like you talk about BTech students now coming out in bulk, but the employability skill is so low. They have not been well taught. Their skills for getting a job are too low, and hence most of the times they don't get those jobs. So here becomes a difficult scenario. So you have to see what's the market condition also, whether streaming down, when you talk of this 2611, software market completely crashed down and there were no more jobs for people who have done software courses. But then you have to look on those market conditions also. Information you should have, what information you should have, I'll share with you all. Then you have to set your goal and form and action. If you come to these, what skills you need to develop. When you do your SWOT analysis, you have to find out what skills you need to develop. Your education and training, the kind of job that you are looking into. If I ask a shy person to go on a platform, shy and introvert who has never been on a stage, to go on a stage and be an event manager and talk about or to be a speaker, will he or she be able to do that? No, I don't think. And then you need a particular kind of education and training to develop that. If you have not gone through it, you will be an absolute failure. But then you have to stream down and help the child through this guidance procedure, that what kind of skills do they have? Are they looking for this kind of a X kind of a job? And do they really have those skills to get that X kind of a job? Is the education, the training, your personality suiting that kind of a job? You have to find it out for sure. Obstacles and strategies. Yes, of course, there might be difficulties that might be cropping up, but what is your plan A and B to overcome them? Self-marketing, you have to do that. You have to talk about your USPs, and activities are must. This self-exploration tells me that SWOT analysis, what I was talking about, is your strength, your weakness, your opportunities and threats should be very well known to you. If I say that what are your strengths, you should be aware of them. What do you do better than others? What are unique capabilities and resources do you possess? What others perceive you as your strength? You should be aware of this, very much aware. And this, when the teachers conduct any kind of class activities, that is the best way. In sports places, in any kind of competition, may it be, we generally talk about children who are they're good speakers, they're good dancers, there are different kind of if I talk about kinesthetic learners, if I talk about visual learners, audio learners, they're all sitting in your class. But do you identify them as different kinds of learners so that you're best able to put in what they want to learn and how they will learn? So you have to talk about all this. So the children should be aware of their strengths. What are their strengths? In the meantime, they should also be aware of the weaknesses that they have, and how can they improve. What are the other persons that they look upon to me? As of me, if I talk about, they should, I should be well aware that XYZ perceives me as weak in this particular section. So I need to improve myself in that particular section. I need to think over and ponder and just find out whether how can I remove these things. Then what trends and conditions may positively impact you, what opportunities are available to you, and threats. Yes, one should think over these on these lines also. What threats conditions may negatively impact you, what are your competitors doing that may impact you, what impact does your weakness have on your threats. Now, very important factors that parents and teachers should look. I think I've already told you that aptitude is one thing that you need because it is the mirror. Interest, you have to find out. What kind of a course the child is wanting to take in. Availability of the course is must. Informed decision over herd mentality. Please do not ask the children to take over and move, जिसको कहते हैं कि भेड़ चाल चलना. Please don't ask them to do that. Whatever is happening, you just move in the same track. And because there are so many engineers coming in, because there is a lot of respect for the doctors, there is a lot of respect for this XYZ profession, you take it up because everybody else here and there is doing it and getting well paid off. But you have to find out that what your child is interested in, what does he want to take it up as. Then comes the scope part. Yes, of course. What is the scope of that particular job that the child is choosing? Remuneration, nobody wants to earn peanuts, and then you should look that are you being well paid for the kind of job that you have chosen for yourself. What are your investments that you have done for getting this kind of a job, and then are you happy with the remuneration part? That is also very important. Nobody wants to earn peanuts, as I said, so you should look upon that. Now, the children sitting in your class are different kinds of children. As I said, they are interpersonal, there are self-smart children, there are children who learn, they are word smart, very quickly they learn, and good vocabulary they have. There are logic smart children, there are nature smart children who are very naturalistic and love environment a lot. There are picture smart children who learn through special learners. Then you have body smart children who are kinesthetic learners, and music smart children who love and do well with this music learning and all that. And then interpersonal, of course, people, smart people that you might see. But then I have a list of job because we all see this happening and have these children in our schools. And if they are verbally good, if they are linguistic, and so you can go for professions they very well learn through reading, writing, telling stories, and you can go for being a lawyer, editor, interpreter. There are number smart children you can see on the screen flashing. They can be chemist, pharmacist, inventor, researcher, planner. If they are number smart, they can take up these professions because they are very good with it. Picture smart children are good in reading maps, drawing puzzles, mazes, and imagining things. So these children can be cartographers, engineers, interior designers, mechanic, navigator, pilot. There are body smart children who can be pushed into I'm using a wrong word, then it shouldn't be pushed. They will very happily take up professions as dancer, coach, actress, equestrian, carpenter, physicians. So these are the kinds of profession they can take in. Then there are music smart children. You have seen they can be music teachers, composers, technicians in recording sections, singers, they can go as a musical performer, sound engineers, music critics. They can take all these professions. If we talk about interpersonal relationships with people smart, the children who are people smart and good with interpersonal relationships, they can be teachers, therapists, managers, meditators, salespersons. Then you talk about self-smart people who are having good intrapersonal relations. They can be entrepreneurs because they understand recognizing their own strength, weakness, setting goals. They're they understand their self very much better than other people. They can be psychiatrists, psychologists, they can be researchers, writers, and trainers. And then, of course, last that comes up, but not the least, nature smart people. They can be botanists, environmentalists, astronomers, meteorologists, zoologists. They love, these people are there who love their profession that way. So we as teachers must identify the kind of learners sitting in the class. If we don't do that, then we will not be able to guide them in the best possible way. So here's is a request, and teachers have to think on these lines. Generally what happens in our classes, I'm flipping the slide, but then let's have a small conversation. Generally, what happens is when we go into class, we feel कि एक छोटा सा हिंदी में कहते हैं ना कि जो कुछ नहीं कर पाया वो टीचर बन गया. This is what is the people say around, and that is what you hear. जो कुछ नहीं कर पाया वो टीचर बन गया. But then let me tell you, teachers, we all are doing wonderful job, and this time of crisis we have upgraded ourselves, many of ourselves who were not aware of this technological advancement. We have taken up the new challenge very well and are sitting on this platform discussing things, and I'm thankful to Geti once again that Madam Gandhi has started this venture, and we have joined together on this platform. But then going into the class, a teacher who is a chemistry teacher, can you not talk to your child about various platforms, various career information related to your own subject of chemistry? Have you ever got into the class and talked about that? Yes, if I'm a PG in chemistry, what there are other things, or what particular kind of a study could I have done, and I would have been a different person altogether. If I'm here, I'm happy and contented. But then this particular kind of course, if I would have done, I think the children who are interested in chemistry, if you talk to them about this, if they have taken up and they are sitting with you, then definitely they are interested. तो आप जब उनसे ये बात करेंगे कि अगर केमिस्ट्री में अभी तुम ये पढ़ाई और कर लो, then these are the other options that might open up for you. You talk about your challenges as a teacher. You talk about what good things do you feel about this profession, to just divert their mind and tell them about good things of your profession so that they can also think on these lines. But we never do that. We never talk about different professions. If there is a maths teacher, does he ever enter a class and talk about what various verticals open if I do my specialization in maths and then I further study this? This is the kind of training and specialization required. And then when I do all this, I will be somewhere here. There was a slide I earlier made, but I know this just 45 minutes. So, which says that are you aware of the different kinds of job platforms available? Do you ever talk about what are the unusual platforms available for jobs? Any kind of presentation, बहुत सारे presentations देखते हैं बच्चे extemporary करते हैं, debate करते हैं, but have you ever talked about keeping a career information which are unusual? Just play with your children. Talk about कि with your alphabet, just tell me 5 unusual careers that come up. आप 5 ऐसे करियर्स बताइए आपके अल्फाबेट से जो आपने अभी तक नहीं सुने. हेल्प देम एक्सप्लोर एंड देन गिव देम अ स्मॉल प्रोजेक्ट कि आप उन 5 करियर्स के बारे में पूरी इंफॉर्मेशन इकट्ठा कीजिए. एक करियर को चूज करने के लिए व्हाट काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन डू यू रिक्वायर? यू रिक्वायर अ जॉब टाइटल, you require educational and personal requirements, method of entry, nature of work, working conditions, how are they, because that affects the people's work performance also. Then challenges, what are coming up, what are the challenges in the workplace, what kind of a earning or remuneration you're going to have. Then advancement and employment trends and outlook. You need to ask your children to make such kinds of product. Do a little brainstorming on that, and this can be done by all subject teachers. If you talk about any teacher till your class 12 level, आपकी botany की teacher, zoology की teacher है, एक psychology की teacher है, any teacher who comes up in the class, you can have a session just on this कि क्या profession dimensions open है उनके लिए, क्या और है except these only 4-5 professions that you remember on your tip, that is being a doctor or an engineer, or you're going into this and that, and 5-6 professions that you have come down yourself to, and you only talk about them कि अगर बच्चे ने ये नहीं किया, then there is nothing. And now here enters one more thing which is very important. You have to talk about this even to the parent. कैसे आप ये करेंगे? How will you do that? How will you involve parent and all that? आप अगर अपने स्कूल में इसको करना चाहते हैं, एनीबडी हु वांट्स टू डू दिस, आप क्या अपने स्कूल में एक बुलेटिन बोर्ड फॉर्म नहीं कर सकते हैं? एक बुलेटिन बोर्ड लगाइए जिसको आप नाम दीजिए कि दिस इज द career information bulletin board, wherein your commerce students, your science students of different verticals, or any other stream that you have opened up, children put on unusual jobs, regular information which is required. Very unusual professions come up, and even usuals. People don't have number of क्या कौन से good colleges हैं, आपको क्या educational qualification उसके लिए चाहिए, क्या कट ऑफ परसेंटेज है, कब एग्जाम्स होते हैं, किस तरह का प्रिपरेशन होना चाहिए. आस्क चिल्ड्रन टू प्रिपेयर बुलेटिन बोर्ड्स एंड कॉर्नर्स इन योर स्कूल अबाउट देम. Because when they will start thinking on these lines, when they will explore this world of different career options, then only they'll get to know what they need to choose for themselves. But we generally don't do that. We are so busy कि बस हमको साइंस पढ़ाना है, हमको मैथ्स पढ़ाना है, और ये पढ़ के बच्चे को मेरे IIT देना है या JEE देना है और नीट्स देना है, and that is all that his life is fixed for. But no, you have to. आज तो इतने सारे platforms available हैं, you can see that people are talking about different professions, but then information, lack of information, because parents also don't know. It is not only the child. As I said, parents are nowadays not just an authority figure, they are a friend, philosopher, and guide. And when you will convert school in closer collaboration with parents, can convert parents into a better guide. They are guiding children, but then a better guide who is more informed, because parents are not informed. You can ask your own school parents to be a part of this campaign. You can ask parents to come in and take lectures who are successful, doing something different apart. You can ask them to take career lectures, come up and talk about your experience. How did you get into this job? आपने क्या struggle किए? What are your struggles? What was the competition that you cracked in? How much time is required? What are the fee structures of different programs? You can ask your own successful parents to come up and take lectures. You can also, and that can be done on a regular mode. There is nothing required. In a week, if you feel like, call any of the parents, and that way I must tell you, aapke school and parent bonding is going to be fantabulous, because once you start doing it, start involving parents in this, the parents will also emotionally connect to the school. Please understand, once they are coming in as a guest and just sharing their experience of the kind of job that they are doing it, how did they, the child also feels very privileged, and the parent also. Give them a small bouquet, a token of remembrance, but then do it with them. They will join in and they'll be happy. And then when you ask your own children to prepare their presentations on different topics, and then ask them to come over into the scene and give these presentations to other children of the school, and let them think on those lines from classes 6, 7, and 8. Help them identify their potential and give them this huge world and dimensions where they can think and explore new job opportunities. But generally we don't talk about, because we don't have time as of what we say. But then you have a lot of time. If you want to do it, you can of course do it. I have a short glimpse to show you. Generally, I'm showing you the slides that are very important, because matter, I have to squeeze down. So language and some careers, you can see they are flashing on the screen. Science and some careers are flashing on your screen now. Then if I talk about social science and careers, it is again flashing on your screen. Mathematics and careers, I must say, there is this actuarial science. People do not know about this. This option also, they don't know that actuarial science is one of the options that comes in, because we generally do not talk about it. But you need to. The maths teacher, maybe aapka jo maths teacher ho, at times when people get to know in a later stage, they also say, ki agar pehle pata chal gaya hota, to I would have done this. But this is what? This is lack of information. So that is what I'm trying to tell teachers, that they can do it in their regular periods. You can take up your own, you can make a small information, mera subject. This is my subject. What different dimensions of jobs open up with my particular subject? Kya mera bachcha isme padhai kar le and he would rise and shine into a different kind of a job. So please, I think that is also a good way. Then you can see now strategies and imparting your career information. How can you do it in your schools? There can be career talks, as I said. They can be by the parents, they can be by invited guests, but they can be by students also of unusual careers. Play with them in the class. There can be different subjects and talks about them. There can be a career quiz that you can conduct. That can be very well done. There can be career conferences that you can take up. There can be a career fair that you can do in your school. We generally take our children every year somewhere outside. हम उनको सिर्फ मस्ती मजा कराने ले जाते हैं. But then if I say one thing, that rather than this, you plan a career tour where you make them visit a particular kind of an industry, supposing any industry that you feel like, and then you give them a glimpse of what's happening here. If you go to Haridwar side, there are very many industries. If you go to some other parts, wherever you choose to, you'll find good industries. Tie up with the industry, give them a visit, ask them to take a visit, and make them talk to the people who are working here. I know it is going to be a fantabulous experience for all the kids. And you can plan a visit, come tour, career tour for your children. And when they come back, at least they will start thinking on those lines, whatever they see. Then role play, of course, there is. notice and bulletin boards. As I said, you can keep your one section of employment section in your school, wherein all information related to different kinds of profession is shared. That also you can do. um, then your project work, I already told you that you can ask your particular subject teachers to go for different project works. Now, internships, shadowing, mentoring programs, simulations, library and books, published career information that is coming up, career speakers. Of course, there can be internet. Yes, is a whole big world of information, but then how you have to help your child, you have to guide him through the internet using also, because many at the times, when I'll talk further, you'll see wrong information is posted and children get carried away by that. So a guided internet use is what I suggest. PowerPoint presentations, of course, folk media, school assembly can be a way. You can always talk about one unusual career or one different career in your school assembly. You can keep one section, जैसे हम thought के लिए रखते हैं और morning prayer के लिए रखते हैं. Just tell your students how they can take up this career. That can also be done. That's also a wonderful way. Now, what are the basic requirements? I would also suggest you to set up a career resource room in your schools. You can do that very easily. There is no extra setup required for that. You just need an empty room. What you need to do is ask your teachers and ask your students to come out with various magazines, biographies, as it is we buy or purchase for the libraries. But then you can build up a section wherein you have a small setup of visual aid, something like a projector or something. Then you have biographies and newspapers, employment newspapers. Then you can have something like charts about unusual careers. You can also have a lot of career information material. There can be a checklist. There can be various videos played. So all this as a career resource room can be set up. You can ask a librarian to help you in setting of this career resource room, and teachers and students can go off and on and study the different material available over there. So you don't need much of investment or required for this. So your basic requirement is a place which is accessible, adequate space, proper display of relevant materials, whatever there can be charts, there can be books, there can be biographies of different people who are successful. And then your counselor, teachers, or any kind of assistant, or you can also build in peer moderators. That can be students who can be made in charges. There can be a club, like you can say career information club, and there can be peers and leaders who can moderate others, help others, who can design activities for this your guidance club, career guidance club. Then videos, literature on career assessment tests can be conducted. Career information material has to be there in that career resource room. Career exploration checklist can also be a part of it. Then see if there are a few things that I would like to quickly say. That a career resource room can be a place where career related information, it is not information can be there. It is not an expensive affair. Your day-to-day library can also serve this purpose. But then if a specially structured room beautifully built in is there, that will attract the children. Teachers and volunteers can work together. Then updates have to be maintained. What is new coming up? What is the new thing streaming? And amount of resources available depends upon your internet. And then also please see that you do not take a lot of financial pressure on yourself. So it has to be easily done. If you have a counselor in your school, you can ask her also to study a little more about career counseling, and then she can also take up that job. If you want to hire a separate career counselor, that's all together. But I believe if the teachers just study up their own subject and the verticals coming out from them, you don't need a career counselor anyhow. You can of course have a alumni association and the parent association, which contributes and for the maintenance and updation of career resources. You can call your alumni for talks. You can call your parents for talks, as I said. And when you guide, when all this guidance program is structured, the teachers have to look in for that course affiliation and accreditation is proper. The accreditation of the institutes that they are suggesting is proper. Cost and financial aid, scholarship, whatever it is, the information has to be there. And genuine information has to be there, because there should be a small research team which works on this, because आप खुद जानते हैं कि इंटरनेट पे बहुत सारी चीजें जैसे दिखाई देती है वैसी होती नहीं है. So there can be challenges when the parents go there. Job placement rates, of course. Course content, you have to check it on, and internship and hands-on opportunities where these children after 12th can go for all these. There are very many courses. The teachers have to see that they work upon the non-cognitive skills of the students also, because academic attributes, as much as they play the part, these parts are also very important. Their social emotional development, they should know how self-regulation, critical thinking is a very, very important part. Again, I'm reminding you, teach your children, not exactly that what we say is what to think, but how to think is one thing that is very important that you should teach your children. Then cultural competency, of course, time management is one thing that is really very important for children to do in. So if I talk about real work experience, career related learning in medicated real life experience, career related learning beyond classroom through meeting with experts, career talks, alumni, pursuing different kinds of careers, career related learning in the classroom through subject learning, life skills learning, direct guidance from the teachers and counselors. This is very, very, very important. So that has to be done anyhow. Then there are children with special needs also in your schools. So please help them at times. What kind of, again, the cycle goes same, that aptitude, interest, and values they have. Provision of real life learning experiences is very important. Explore what kind of career opportunities these children can take up, and just help them enhance their self-esteem, which is very important, because they need to be we need to create self-awareness. We need to create awareness that this is very important for them to be economically independent. For that, you have to work upon the life skills also, so please do that. And I must say that career guidance is a very dynamic procedure, and it requires continuous guidance. It is not just that you will do it for class. So generally, if I talk to schools, they say we'll just start up with 9 to 12th, and that is where they're required, where there is actually guidance needed. But I differ from the thing. I generally say and ask my teachers that you have to start this procedure of hunting and, pulling them down to one level is from class 6 onwards. आप थोड़ा थोड़ा नजर रखिए. From class 6 onwards, you should start talking to the parents through small presentations, through small programs, that how this is going to be happen. At least start putting this thought into their mind that it is not that only your child is successful in these 4, 5, 6, topmost professions. That is what is the criteria for success. You have to pull them down, you have to push them and guide them that there is so much in the world that the child can achieve, and then also he'll be termed successful. What is more important is you don't have to trouble the mind of the child, because a troubled mind cannot ever focus on the path of the victory. So you have to clear all the doubts. What happens? Children are full of all kind of confusion in their mind. They don't know what to do and how to do. So what teachers have to do is that they have to help children trim down, come down to very specific limited kind of career choices. But you have to give them in abundance. You have to give them lot of choices, not those 4, 5 fixed choices. For that, I have told you all basic steps. In classroom, when a teacher goes, he can talk about different career options that are available through his own subject. You can have a lot of career talks. You can ask parents to come in and talk. You can have a career resource room in your school. You can have career fairs in your school. And please talk about different options also. Just play a game with them in the class. Ask them कि आपका जो भी नाम है, उसका जो भी initial है, please आप उसके बारे में food testers की job होती है. They are highly paid in this industry. Perfume testers, food testers, they are getting so well paid, but people are not aware of these jobs. How to get into these jobs is also not aware. So the procedure is not aware. Sometimes कुछ देख के हम ऐसे ही सोच लेते हैं, this is too big and how will I get into it, I don't know, and name fame नहीं है या पैसा नहीं है. So all this myth you have to break this stigma of getting into only these 4, 5. A lot of respect is there in the profession of teaching, but children who want to be professors or who want to go into this profession of teaching, they are also very few. And that's ironical. We all talk about we are the ones who make every profession, we are the ones who guide them to be going into different professions, but for our own selves, looking upon we as teachers or professors, the children don't stream down and come to these choices. This is something last that they'll opt for. So you have, once you start doing it, you will get a lot of respect. And of course the children will start thinking on these lines also, that there is a lot more to be explored. You have to, one thing I would love to say here, that when you are talking about any kind of a guidance program or career counseling program, we have to see that the children nowadays have EQ, SQ, very इंटेलिजेंट क्वेश्चन है उनके पास इमोशनल क्वेश्चन है, उनके पास सोशल क्वेश्चन है, बट व्हाट लैक्स इज एडवर्सिटी क्वेश्चन. With this Geti platform here, I would just like to pull it off, because ये बहुत important है for teachers, for principals, for everybody. We don't talk about teaching our children the adversity question, which is the fourth and important paradigm shift that has happened. This is the new word that has come up, the adversity question. And this, the school as well as the parents need to teach their children very importantly. Ki in life there can be failures, in life there can be issues, in life there can be very many things, but then you have to come out of all of it smiling. How do you have to do it? That is how we teach our adversity question. तो आप बच्चों को सिखाइए कि failures, challenges, everything that will come in job also, but then they need to recover and come out of it. They need to sort out their problems. They don't have to act like a failure. The only thing is you need to have a strong willpower, you need to have a strong self, and that all determination power can be done in school only. You have to build in students who are strong. When we talk about holistic development, you have to see that you please help children be more strong. So in careers also, बच्चे career में fail हो जाएं, बच्चे exam में fail हो जाएं, and they do such things, they commit suicides, they do all those kind of nasty things, but then we are only the people who can guide them in the best of the possible ways, and we can tell them that you have to be strong enough, and these are paths which will come in life. If you are moving, then certainly this is going to happen. These are hurdles, these are obstacles, and they will come up, but you have to overcome them. So adversity question is very important. Patience is very important in life. So these two things have to come up. And before I close down, I would love to show you the video, because I cannot miss showing you that. And since it's very beautiful, and I think it'll help all teachers think about that, yes, this is something that we all need to do. Let's do this.
Once upon a time, forest animals gathered in plenary session and decided to create a school in the forest. The project was voted for and approved unanimously. As you might know, there is always someone who has a lot of questions. We are talking about the squirrel.
What will be taught? And what will be the most important thing to learn?
Disquisitions, coughs, papers flying everywhere, and finally it was heard.
We should consider it vital to fly.
It can be easily guessed that the one who spoke was the golden eagle. Right away, shyly, other voices began to be heard.
And swim. And run. And jump.
And dig burrows.
As you might have guessed, at the meeting, there was a fish, a hare, a kangaroo, and a mole. A detailed action plan was made. Holidays were decided, teachers were chosen, posts were assigned, salaries were fixed, and they established that all students must take all courses, such was their importance. Although the hare got the best performance in running, flying led him to an impressive crash. He was willful, so he tried again. And again. And again, until he fractured his spine. Imagine, my friends, the suffering of the fish digging, of the hippo flying, or the rhino climbing, or the mole singing, and of the ostrich diving. The original joy was disappearing. The number of students was decreasing. The parrot spoke, expressing everyone's feelings. I came knowing to fly, and now I don't even have time to practice it. I haven't learned anything. Yes, I learned that I'm not able to swim, or run, or jump, or dig, or... There was a party at the end of the course. Diploma of honor, distinguished student. Special mention to Coco, the chicken, who was not able to swim, or dig, or run, or jump. She did not even fly very well, but she was mediocre and did everything just as bad. The cloister thrilled. Everyone had gone through all the exams, and although 87% had failed, the reasons were clear. It was due to lack of education, poor concentration, lack of motivation, irresponsibility, immaturity, emotional problems, and many serious family conflicts. You know. The school never re-registered any students because there was a rumor going around the forest. In this school, they only teach you to realize what you are not able to do.
So you very well saw that what happened with the school. The school never registered with any students because they taught them what they could not do. So that is what I want to tell you, teachers, that you have to guide your students. And very often teachers take up this very easily and say that I cannot do anything about it. This is how the system is. See, I believe in a small quote that says that I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And I must not fail to do that something. So that is what is really very important. कि हम जो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, हम सब कुछ नहीं कर सकते. I also know that. But then whatever we can do, we should do it. And as for children, I would like to close down on a note that help children find out jobs that they exactly, whatever they are loving in life to do, they should get those kinds of jobs. And because the moment you get those kinds of jobs, you will never feel worked. You will never feel, if you get something that you love to do, you will not feel for a single day in life that you have worked. So help them come down to those conclusions, help them and guide them in a better way so that they can make best of career options. Find out what you like doing best or the children like doing best and get someone who can pay you for that. So that is what is how you can make the life wonderful of the children. Only teachers, we as schools, if we take up this responsibility little seriously, we give times to so many activities, why not take out little more time to talk to our children, guide them in a better way and help squeeze them down their choices. We built in a proper guidance program for children and just help. And apart from helping children also, you have to just make the parents also understand that this is really very important, that they need to think over other options that are available. They need to get they also need to get to know that what other career options are available all over the world. It is not limited to those 7, 8, 10 options that they call being top-notch jobs. So On those notes, I would like to thank Geti and Preena for putting me down here on this Geti platform to interact with you all. It was wonderful being here. Please do what you do, love whatever you do to love, and in life, whatever you feel makes you happy, you should always do that. What I feel is, and then I think you'll be happier always and ever. So, on those notes, I would love to thank Preena for giving me the time, and anybody who would like to ask any question can just ask me.
Big thanks to you, ma'am. It was a
Thank you.
very informative session and very nice quote shared. And I can remember one quote by Einstein that everybody is genius, but if you're going to judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
will live
definitely.
its entire life.
Then you
Yes,
will not be able to do, and teachers have to think over on these lines also, that this is also their part of responsibility, that once they
right.
start talking on these lines with the kids, this hardly takes these kinds of interactions, they just take a period in a week or something like that, but at least
Absolutely.
start thinking on those lines. And then
They
of
can
course,
start.
patience, you have to develop a lot of patience even in the children, and as well as teachers have to have a lot of patience, because anybody who is not having this patience to go through all this, they will also not be successful anyways in the life. So you have to
Right.
develop all these skills also in children parallelly. When you plan a guidance program, you have to work upon the skills also, you have to work upon the various parts. You have to get a lot of information, your library should be well equipped, your librarian should also take in the charge, because the role of the librarian is also very limited in most of the schools. They don't know how to
Right.
use your librarian. So you can ask your librarian to keep up book reviews, biography reviews in the library. They should talk about career. They can keep career talks in the library itself about different new information coming up in the library, new books being added, and there is a lot that you can do with the children. So that's
I
totally
mean,
depends upon the
uh,
school and other people.
many ideas were shared by you. I think they were amazing, especially the bulletin that we can put it as a corner, on our school campus where we can put more information about the career. We have few comments by the audience side. If you can just see, like we need to develop thinking skills in students by introducing
Yeah,
innovative methods.
yeah, definitely. So that's uh, that's very true, and I would also like to say that I'm thankful. Like I was busy with the session, so I never looked on to
No
the
problem.
comment.
No, people were very much engrossed in the session. They were very much listening to you. Like we have another comment. We usually run through those 5 or 6 professions only. We need
Yeah,
to talk more, as you mentioned.
yeah, that's very important, ma'am. We generally do not. We never talk with our parents. Also, that is also what is the fault of the school. We don't think on these lines. We think कि हमारा बच्चा इंजीनियर डॉक्टर बनना चाहता है. That is the utmost importance of the time. तो यही करेगा तो बस बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है लाइफ में. And even we bring up our children with the same kind of mindset also. कि अगर तुमने ये नहीं किया ना, then you are an absolute failure in life. But the parents
It's
also need to
actually
think on those lines, and the schools also think on this. But at times I hold school responsible, because schools do not understand that this part of information has to be shared with the parents. You have to, again and again make the parent also think on those lines कि भाई ये और भी कुछ available है life में, please go for it. Just see what is happening around the world. There are very many jobs which the children can do. There's a lot more nowadays. I see every now and then this Google is putting up this coding thing coming up, and I
yes.
tell you, are doing amazing with this coding thing. Unless and until anybody who talks about this is not going to know, the children are you don't have to make children, we make children think. Actually, this is how we develop
Right.
children. कि सुन सुन तुमने डॉक्टर नहीं किया, आईआईटी नहीं किया, जेई नहीं किया, तुमने लाइफ में कुछ किया नहीं बेटा. सो यू हैव टू कम आउट ऑफ दिस स्टिग्मा. आपको ये जो एक आपने बना लिया है ना अपने आसपास का एक शेल, इसको तोड़ना पड़ेगा. एंड आई थिंक if these kinds of platforms, I'm thankful to Dr. Sunita Gandhi that she's thinking on those lines, and these kinds of live sessions definitely, because so many people join in and they talk about all this. I think the principals who might have joined, the teachers who might have joined, at least they would have start thinking on these lines कि यार ये भी हम स्कूल में कर सकते हैं. Why not make a bulletin board session? Why not make a small resource room? Why not involve parents? Talk about
See,
different jobs that are coming. पेरेंट्स हु आर कमिंग फ्रॉम डिफरेंट प्लेटफॉर्म्स ऑफ जॉब्स, आपके पास खुद के पास है, बहुत सारे ऐसे पेरेंट्स होंगे जो कुछ अनयूजुअल कर रहे होंगे, आपको पता भी नहीं होगा। एक स्कूल में 2-2 हजार बच्चा होता है, हर पेरेंट क्या कर रहा है, और ये स्कूल्स के लिए भी बहुत अच्छा है। वंस द स्कूल स्टार्ट्स डूइंग, द पेरेंट्स फील सो प्रिविलेज्ड, a personal bonding develops with the school that generally the schools lack today what we are facing in this scenario also। आज आपके साथ प्लेटफॉर्म में हूं तो ये भी शेयर करूंगी, ये जितना फी इशू हम फेस कर रहे हैं ये हम कभी फेस नहीं करते इस क्राइसिस मोमेंट में अगर 1% भी हमारी एक पर्सनल बॉन्डिंग होती है पेरेंट्स के साथ। कहीं ना कहीं हमारी पर्सनल बॉन्डिंग लैक करती है पेरेंट्स से, बिकॉज दे डोंट थिंक कि हम इस स्कूल का हिस्सा है, दे टेक अस एज प्रोफेशनल पार्टनर्स। तो भाई मेरी ये ड्यूटी है, इतना मैंने कर दिया, दैट्स ऑल। बट द मोमेंट यू रिकॉग्नाइज दैट अरे मेरे बच्चे का पूरा लाइफ इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन दिस स्कूल, दीज टीचर्स आर पार्ट ऑफ माय फैमिली, एंड दोज हु थिंक अलाइक दे आर डेफिनेटली द वंस हु आर एक्चुअली डूइंग इट, who are actually doing it। So वो डिपॉजिट भी कर रहे हैं, but then आप क्योंकि ऐसा करते नहीं हो, you don't involve parents with you, so these are the kinds of problems we face। Once it is like a family setup, you are equally responsible towards the parents are responsible towards you। And career counseling को मैं ऐसे नहीं कह रही कि आप बाहर से कोई specialized बुलाइए, I don't need that। Your own teachers performing in the class can be very good career counselors, madam। Only thing is because teachers themselves are not aware कि भाई मेरे पर्टिकुलर जॉब के साथ मेरा करियर ऑप्शंस क्या है, मैं खुद क्या क्या कर सकता था, वो उससे भी अनअवेयर है। दे जनरली से कि मैं तो भाई मैडम अब कुछ नहीं कर पाया तो आई बिकम अ टीचर। सो दैट यू हैव टू ब्रेक actually। So thank you to Dr. Sunita Gandhi also that she has given me this wonderful opportunity through Geti,
and pleasure is all ours to have you, and we got to know so many things from you, and people are very happy, as I can read out the comments. Like one parent even suggested we can keep a parent talk per month, as you can see on the screen. Everybody is giving their ideas, and we discussed about the teachers part, that their role is very crucial when it comes to the career of the child, but and equally the parents are responsible, because we don't want any kind of like they impose कि you have to be an engineer, you have to be a doctor। बच्चा इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है पर वो उसके साथ कंपल्शन हो जाता है क्योंकि मेरे पेरेंट्स ने कहा है आई हैव टू बी अ डॉक्टर, एंड दिस एक्चुअली स्टार्ट्स द डे द चाइल्ड इज बोर्न, इसको तो मैं इंजीनियर बनाऊंगा। So this is something we have to change, and we have to go with the child, as you even mentioned, the multiple intelligences that children can go with, and the teacher can take care of the students who are more of kinesthetic interest, and who can study with the audio visual part.
It's important to identify the different learners sitting in the class. This is one challenge that generally people don't do. Another challenge is you design and structure schools, but then you don't design your learning according to the learners sitting in the class, because everything has to be designed and structured that way। You have different learners, that your syllabus, whatever you are designing, your content, everything has to be designed कि आपकी क्लास में इतने different learners बैठे हैं, so anything activities that teachers design should cater to all kinds of learners sitting in the class। Once you start doing it, I think the learning, as I said, that it is very important to make your children critical learners। Nowadays it's very much on the Google, internet, so that critical thinking has stopped। You put them into live situations, you do a lot of storytelling with them, talk about different stories, life stories, biographies, put them into a difficult situation and ask them what will be their reactions when you get into this kind of a trouble। Put them into life situations,
like the tours you discussed about।
I told them that when you teach, supposing if a teacher is teaching profit and loss, why don't you ask children to run the canteen one day? Ask your senior children to take over the canteen, make something dry, cook and sell it off। Ask the children to go into the canteen, purchase those things, and then ask them to maintain a profit loss statement for that day। Let them run, and the moment they will do all this, they will actually analyze what it is to run a canteen, how much of input is required, what are the financials that are involved, how we have to calculate this profit and loss thing। So that's a better learning by doing। But then I don't know why everybody has limited themselves to this kind of thing। The more you teach by doing, I think the better they learn। So you have to give them those options, you have to think on those lines, and children are doing far better than what we think। They are really very talented, but then it is our duty to give this talent the right track. And if the teachers take up this responsibility, I think it will be fair enough that
One.
they will be able to do the justice with their own conscience, their own job, and even with the children.
Truly said. Thank you so very much for this enlightening session. It was very informative, and we are very happy to have you. And a very big thanks to you on behalf of Global Education and Training Institute.
Thank you, and convey my regards to Dr. Gandhi also. Thank you,
Sure,
Preena.
ma'am.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
And thank
so
you
much.
to all the viewers for joining us. Thanks a lot. And I'll be back soon with another interesting topic. Till then, take care, stay safe. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you, ma'am. Take care.
Thank you so much.